The short-field takeoff is a maneuver to help prepare the student for a situation where the usable runway length is short or when the runway has an obstacle at the departure end, such as trees or buildings. In training, you'll be simulating taking off on a short runway that has a 50-foot obstacle at the departure end. For this maneuver, the pilot must be familiar with the airplane's best angle of climb speed, Vx, and the best rate of climb speed, Vy. Be sure to refer to the airplane's pilot operating handbook for the appropriate airspeeds and specific procedures for takeoff. Before taxiing onto the runway, ensure that the airplane is set up per the manufacturer's recommendations. This may include the proper flap setting, which varies from each airplane and can range from 0 flaps to as much as half flaps. Apply full brakes and smoothly apply full throttle. While holding the brakes, quickly check that all engine gauges are within limits. When you have verified that everything is working properly, release the brakes and begin the takeoff roll. As with regular takeoffs, allow the airplane to accelerate to the manufacturer's recommended rotate speed, or VR. At this point, smoothly start to apply back pressure on the yoke and allow the airplane to lift off. Once the airplane is airborne, the pilot should immediately pitch for best angle of climb, or Vx, or the manufacturer's speed for obstacle clearance. Maintain the best angle of climb until the obstacle is cleared and have reached a specific altitude. At this point, you can lower the nose and pitch for the best rate of climb, or Vy. If applicable, at this point you can retract the landing gear and flaps. During training, if there are no obstacles, then maintain best angle of climb until you have reached at least 50 feet above your runway altitude, and maintain a constant airspeed climb. Be sure to utilize your trim. Remember to allow the airplane to reach appropriate airspeeds before liftoff. If an airplane lifts off prematurely and has a nose-high attitude, the drag will increase and may cause the airplane to set back down on the runway, increasing the takeoff roll. Retract the flaps in increments to avoid a sudden loss of lift.
As this maneuver will have to be performed for the flight examiner, the student must adhere to these standards. Exhibits knowledge of the elements related to a short-filled takeoff and maximum performance climb. Positions the flight controls for the existing wind condition, sets the flaps as recommended. Clears the area, taxis into takeoff position utilizing maximum available takeoff area, and aligns the airplane on the runway center or takeoff path. Applies brakes, if appropriate, while advancing the throttle smoothly to takeoff power. Lifts off at the recommended airspeed and accelerates to the recommended obstacle clearance airspeed, or Vx. Establishes a pitch attitude that will maintain the recommended obstacle clearance airspeed, or Vx, plus 10 or minus 5 knots, until the obstacle is cleared or until the airplane is 50 feet above the surface. After clearing the obstacle, establishes the pitch attitude for Vy, accelerates to Vy, and maintains Vy plus 10 or minus 5 knots during the climb. Retracts the landing gear if appropriate, and flaps after clear of any obstacles or as recommended by the manufacturer. Maintains takeoff power and Vy plus 10 or minus 5 knots to a safe maneuvering altitude. Maintains directional control and proper wind drift correction throughout the takeoff and climb. Completes the appropriate checklist.